the market's always right. But is it though? You're either on the right side of the market or you're on the wrong side. There's really no if, ands, or buts about it. But it doesn't always mean that that is built in facts. Rare occasions, the roots of some books' value is oftentimes in misinformation. Now, so here's I kind of made a little list of just 5 books that I think the market has all wrong. Before we get into it, don't forget to follow me here on Facebook and Instagram, where I drop daily content on all 3 platforms. And all kinds of fun videos like this, but more of that towards the end. The first book I really want to talk about here it's one of the more infamous ones, kind of, is Hulk #1, first appearance of Red Hulk, it is, as it's often stated. But, he's on the covers. He's on, I think, all or almost all the covers for this book, including the A cover, but he's not, in fact, in the issue at all. He's nowhere's on the book. It isn't until issue 2 of the Hulk series that Red Hulk actually appears in the pages of the book. And he's also on the cover. He's in the reflection of Iron Man's helmet. So, along with Red Hulk, A-Bomb also appears for the first time in this issue. And Hulk #1 has come way down. But recent bids kind of get out of hand. I mean, this book can go for $40, $50 sometimes. And, a 9.8 has come down to below $300. But for a book that's main significance isn't true, that seems a little high. You know what I mean? Like, you can argue it's Red Hulk's first cover, but $300 for that. I mean, look, it's also Death of Abomination. It's first appearance of the new lineup of the Winter Guard, but it's not the first Winter Guard overall. It's not a first appearance of any of those characters. And, deaths never really mean anything. So, Hulk 2 has, a 30-day average of about $140, and a last sale at 130 according to GPA at a 9.8. It's not bad. I mean, that's, for Red Hulk's first true appearance, the fact that it's, roughly half, a little bit under half of the #1, which really isn't, it's kind of, it's interesting to look at. Both have expensive newsstands as well, but, Raws for the 2 around $10 to $20 online. So you can find plenty of cheap copies out there in your local hunting spots. But, it's one of those books where I'll never understand why Hulk #1 is the book that guys think of. I mean, I get it, he's on the cover and all that, but if you open up the book, he's not on a single page. Now, Humans #5, I argue, is Elena Belova's first full appearance. It's widely regarded as her cameo, and I kind of get it, since her face is partly shadowed the way she's drawn, but she's in multiple pages, speaks multiple times, and is part of the plot, and is the main focus of the pages and panels she's on. Now, it's one of those rare occasions where it seems like the buyers do lean towards this issue anyway, but I don't think it should be regarded as her cameo. And Black Widow #1, to me, is just her second appearance. The variant is, her first solo cover, if you can make that into a thing. But her first cover goes back to the Marvel Knights Wave 2 Wizard handout book. So, the Humans 98 is under $200, and the Black Widow is about $150, give or take. So, it's one of those things where, the buyer's market, I guess, is in the right spot. I mean, I don't think either books are really worth and much of an investment over a couple bucks, just because she's not she's a character, she's going to keep showing up, but it's not a character I personally would bank on. Now, X-Men Annual #14, this is one of the most infamous books in this conversation, except maybe 180 and 181, but that's a book for another day. Gambit is in several panels and pages. He talks in several panels, 10 actually, thanks to Key Collector, and reportedly is in 15 total panels across this issue. Now, that's no cameo, his name is also dropped. We get, I think Storm says his name. Like, he's well introduced through the course of this issue. And it's one of those big things where, it feels like misinformation is what made this book not worth nearly as much as X-Men 266. And of course, misinformation can always change books. Uncanny X-Men 266 is by far a better cover. It's his first cover appearance as well. But it's a lot less busy. The Annual 14 is a very busy cover. And also 266 is his first in continuity appearance, considering it actually happens before X-Men Annual 14 in continuity. But for the 14, has it beat the shelves by 3 weeks. So, 14 is going up and down, but, it's gone up in recent time, but it's come down since the market has. It's about $30 or less right now raw. The 266 seems to be on average about 100 plus. You're looking at recent raw sales for, decent copies. Both books are in an era where high grades it's kind of high grade or no grade slabs, and so comparing 98 solds. The annual is about $250 with an insane 9.9 sale from last year, over $6,000. That's just insane to me. And 266 at a 9.8 goes between $750 and $800. Triple what the annual goes for at a 9.8. And a 9.9 sale happened back in 2015 for $3,000, which for 2015 that's insane. But it's one of those things where 266 is still a great book, but it's not his first appearance. It's just his first cover, and it's nothing that I would bet, $750, $800 on, considering it's just the first cover, and for a quarter of the price, you can get a 9.8 of his true first appearance. Now, Conan the Barbarian number 23 is oftentimes cited as Red Sonja's cameo, but she's all over this book. The only difference here is that she's not on the cover as she is on issue 24, but somehow recent raws for the 23 are under $100, even with the movie coming out. They're looking at end of this year, but it's probably next year, because then we haven't had a trailer yet. But and Red Sonja's 50th anniversary is this year as well, and the fact that this book is under $100 is crazy, and all the recent sales in 24 over $100. Funny enough, both issues on CGC Census have the highest amount of copies graded, both at a 9.4, which is kind of interesting. So compare prices at that grade. Sold slabs for the 23 is about $500, which weirdly is more expensive than the 24 slab at a 9.4. Which is kind of the opposite of raws, where the 24 goes for $400. So there's a $100 difference slabbed at 9.4s. Both of them have the most in the census for that book is at a 9.4, but raw, the 23 is cheaper. So it's really kind of interesting stack there. And for the fifth and final book on today's list in the video is House Secrets 150, 150 or 160. I believe it's 160 actually. I have 150 written down here. Maybe I'm wrong, but it'll pop up on the screen either way. This issue is often cited as the first silver appearance of Plastic Man, which is only sort of true. This is one where you kind of got to let me cook here. I have two lines of thinking. In this issue, Robbie Reed transforms into Plastic Man, but it isn't the Plastic Man that you think of. Sort of like the Silver Age Two-Face fiasco thing, where he looks like he's Plastic Man, but it's not actually Plastic Man in the books. Two-Face, where it's like Batman or Joker or something like that, who's pretends to be Two-Face, but he doesn't actually appear into the Neil Adams issue. And it's one of those things where Robbie would not be transforming into the Plastic Man that we all know and love. It's not. It's actually Eel O'Brien, who is the Golden Age Plastic Man. Now, his son is Patrick O'Brien, and he would appear later in Plastic Man 1, I believe 3 or 4 months later. I believe one was in June, one was in November. And Plastic Man number 1 would be the first appearance of Patrick O'Brien, the character that we all know and love. And, you can see where there's layers to this, where there's two different Plastic Mans, there's two different first appearances, one's not even truly Plastic Man, and then Eel's first Silver Age appearance wouldn't be until Plastic Man number 7 the following year in 67. So it's one of those things where all three issues have super low census counts. It really, it depends on how you want to look at it. You want to look at the first time Plastic Man is seen visually in a Silver Age comic, well, then you look at the House of Mysteries. If you want the Plastic Man that we all know and love, Patrick O'Brien's first appearance overall and also in the Silver Age, that would be Plastic Man number 1. And if you want to find that Golden Age character that, old heads might have connections to from, the 50s, you would have to go to Plastic Man number 7 for Eel's first appearance in the Silver Age. As you can see, it's a little bit confusing. But, there's a bit of sales data on the slabs, nothing too crazy. I could gather the last sold on the house at an 8.0 was 425 this year. Plastic number 1 in April, so for 160 at the same grade. And add on to all the confusion, the number 7 sold in April at a 9.4 for only $140. And 8.0 last December for under $100. So that's a book that doesn't really seem to be super sought after at the moment. All 3 issues have recent raw solds all over the place, with a lot of weird bids and straight post sales. So it seems to be something that a lot going under the radar for a lot of collectors, and they also may not understand what book is really which book. I thought it was kind of interesting to see where, like, one is, again, where Robbie Reed transforms in a Plastic Man, but Plastic Man doesn't actually appear. One where the Plastic Man that we know and love appears, but he's not the original Plastic Man. And then you have the original Plastic Man appearing a following year later. All books are broken down in different orders. All books seem to kind of have different people looking out for them. But let me know what you think down below. Did I get some of these books wrong? Maybe, maybe not. Am I misinformed? Let me know down in the comments. What other issues do you think the market has confused? What other books do you think the market's looking at the wrong thing on? And of course, what's Wolverine's first appearance? What is it? Let me know down in the comments what you think it is. If you're not already, follow me here on Instagram and Facebook for daily content. I post shorts up here every single day, multiple times a day. I post, I'm aiming at twice a week right now. At least every Wednesday, there's a video coming out, a full-length video like this on the main channel here. And then, of course, on Facebook and Instagram, I'm posting all the time, different stuff like that. And then this Facebook group, Fandoms Unleashed, for, again, daily content, an inside look at Connor's comics, all kinds of great stuff. You can go in there, have discussions about new movies, new comics, what you picked up recently, whatever you want to post about within the realm of fandoms. That's a great place to do it. That's all linked down in the description. And until next time, happy hunting and peace.